Well, hello and welcome to the Iceni Women's Series with me, Emma Martin. The Iceni Women's Series is back for September 2024, brought to you by the Ionian Race Team and the Warrior Games, with production and broadcast supported by ZMS Esports Studios and Full Speed Events. Well, across every Saturday in September, and there are 4, the racing is going to be fast, it's going to be furious, and it is going to be all about the points. There will be 4 challenges across the 4 weekends in September. This is an individual competition. Let's take a look at what lies ahead for our riders and where those points can be won. Well, challenge 1 today is the Castle Crit. We are going to do 4 laps, giving us a total distance of 15.5 kilometres and 175 metres of elevation. Challenge 2, we head to canopies and coastlines. Challenge 3, it's the Coastal Crown Loop. And challenge 4, well, loop-de-loop rounds us off. The first 2 challenges, it's sprints all the way. Challenge 3 and challenge 4, those climbs come into play. 16 opportunities across 4 races to pick up points, and there's a lot of points on offer today. You can see there are indeed power-ups for every race, and well, the feather and the AERO are available in every single race. It's that third power-up that changes. And today, well, it's the Burrito turning off the draft effect behind you for 20 seconds that is in play. How strategic can our riders be in using those power-ups to pick up those points along the way? Well, let's take a look at Challenge 1 itself. This is where we start. 4 laps of the Castle Crit course. It's a 3.5 kilometre lap. There's a 1.5 kilometre run-in. Well, that all added together gives us a total of 15.5 kilometres of racing. Now, earlier on today, because we have 2 time slots for the Iceni Women's Race Series. At 9 a.m. UK time this morning, 51 women took to the start line, and the fastest Category A rider completed the course in just over 23 minutes. So this really is going to be fast and furious. There are 4 sprints along the way. We tick off the village sprint each lap, and that's where those first set of points through the race can be picked up. 5 riders each time picking up points through the village sprint, and it's the fastest through the sprint that counts, not first across the line. So 10 points, 8 points, 6 points, 4 points and 2 points going to those 5 riders each time we pass through the village sprint. When we get to that finish line, it's 75 points on the line for the first rider across the line, and then we drop right the way through 1 point at a time by those riders as they cross that finish line today. So a maximum number of points available today in each of the 4 race fields, 115 points. The points accumulated today will be added to the next 3 rounds because it's the rider with the most points across all 4 races in the series that will take the title. And that is in both time slots, so both time slots having their own series. Well, last count, there are over 120 women on the start sheets today in this Iceni Women's Series. For this 3 p.m. slot, or 3 p.m. UK, our riders will be racing from all over the world in very many different time zones. Now, Category A is our smallest race field. 12 riders, it looks like, on the start sheets at the moment. Category B, 20 riders. Category C, 54. That Category C competitive category is always big and strong. And Category D, our second largest race field today, with 35 riders. So overall, we are looking at over 170 women racing Challenge 1, the Castle Crit, on the Iceni Women's Series today. So we have just over a minute now before the start. And that start on this course, well, it is an uphill drag from the start pen. So it is not an easy start, and it's going to be absolutely crucial because that first village sprint comes at 2.4 kilometres into the race. Now, I'm not anticipating it is going to be a push from the pen to that sprint, but we are going to see, I think, a fairly quick start to the race, particularly in that Category C race where we have 54 riders down there in the start pen. Well, you can see all 4 race fields down in the start pen, resplendent in their team jerseys. Category A will be out of the pen first, and then it's a minute gap between Category A and Category B, a minute back to Category C, and then 1 further minute back before Category D are released from that start pen. So the Iceni Women's Series, brought to you by the Ionian Race Team and the Warrior Games, about to get underway. Our Category A women down in the start pen, and they are waiting for the lights to go green. Away they go. The women are up and out of the start pen. The Iceni Women's Series for September 2024 is up and out and away. Pruitt is there right at the front here. So is Widrig. The Gem from SRT is in the mix as well. But we've got 2 riders pushing fast and hard off the front. Now, we said the top 5 riders in each category picking up points the fastest through the segment on that early sprint, coming at 2.4 kilometres into lap 1. The riders here pushing on strongly. Now, we did say it was an uphill start, and that really will affect the pace of the riders out of the pen because they are pushing on the climb as well. So currently Pruitt at 6 watts per kilo. This is a really strong start here by Pruitt. Gem Kim in there as well as Elliot too. A Foudre rider on the front. That looks like that's Louise who is up there and in the mix. So these 4 riders pushing clear at the moment, clear of the 2 riders behind. So 4 riders clear at the moment, 300 metres into this Category A race as Kim just squeezes on those pedals and joins onto the back of that group. 5 riders clear at the moment in the Category A race. Elliot from Riot just off the back. The B race already up and out of the start pen. This race field looking good, looking strong. It's a big pack of riders, a couple of Ionian riders in there. I can see an Electric Spirit rider in there too. Those jerseys really bright and popping out of the pack there, but Brody is in there. Neeson from Coalition is there. Low from Synergy, she's in the mix, as well as Ramirez from the Ionian squad, right down and in that pack too. A small gap, but those riders just squeezing on those pedals and closing that gap back down into the pack. It's looking like we've got one tight Category B group rolling out of that pen, and very, very shortly Category C will be underway as well. Category A and Category B both up and out of the start pens now. Category C starting very, very shortly. All 4 races starting in very quick succession. 1 minute gap between each of them out of the pen, allowing the packs to get clear so that we can really focus on the action in each of the 4 races. Well, take a look at this. This is AERO, the Canadian rider, pushing on here from the W Sisters, really pushing on fast and hard, really trying to drive off the front of the pack. 10%, 11% the gradient at the moment, and wow, this is the start of the C race, and we did wonder whether this would be a faster, harder start because of the numbers in the race field. Just shy of 50 riders out of the start pen in Category C, and Horsey from Vixen is there. Oh, take a look at that. Sperry is there, as well as Smith and Palmer, all in the mix here. So it's looking like Eklund and Carmen from ART is right towards the front of the pack, but it's Airy from the W Sisters right off the front of the group at the moment as Meskova pushes through and just comes up alongside her, the Galaxy Rider there, really transitioning between the pack and the pack. I think they're going to bring the lone leader back into that pack. The Category C group are rolling, and I tell you, when this group hit that sprint, well, the draft is going to be strong. Category D also out of the start pen now and on this climb. This is a nasty run from the start pen into the course of the Castle Crit because it is uphill, and you can see the gradient on the bottom of your screen. The dark red indicating the steeper sections that we saw of 10 to 11% is now shied off a bit towards 4. But I tell you, our riders are noticing it. Take a look at the stretch on that Category D group. Well, Sauvage is in here, the French rider from Evo. Walker is here too. Kroll from Wales in the mix. Burrell from ART is here. And it's great to see these riders. Zwift from Level Racing is there too. A little bit more of a stretch here, but the group now starting to come back together and tighten up. But it's looking like we've already got 2 groups of riders on the road in Category D. Now, it does not matter if there are 2 groups of riders on the road in Category D because it's points for the fastest through the segment today on each of the laps, not first across the line. Well, this is the Category A pack, and they are about to come up to that first sprint of the day at 2.4 kilometres. They are about 100 metres out at the moment. As they take the right-hand bend on the top of the screen, you can see they've got a left and a right to do, and that's the banner at the end. There they come. You can see the green marker on the left-hand side of your road, and we've got a push coming on here, and Pruitt going at 8 watts per kilo. She's back in third at the moment, so she's going to take the draft from the 2 riders in front and come up and through. Pruitt doing a phenomenal job of tactical racing and huge power. Those 2 things combined well. If she doesn't set the fastest time through that segment for the Category A race, it's going to be a really interesting challenge. But take a look at this. Pruitt continuing to push on, currently at the front of the group. Louise from Foudre there as well. Winrig just dropping that Burrito, and I think that's because she wanted to get rid of that through that section and pick up another power up. And you can see by the green jersey next to Pruitt's name, well, she sets the fastest time through that sprint. Being fastest through that segment, she should pick up maximum points on that first sprint effort. Category A already through, and well, Category B are coming in fast at 36 kilometres an hour. They're coming in towards the sprint, and the push is on. And take a look at the riders coming through the pack. Anya from Coalition coming through really, really well, and well, Neeson from Coalition too. In fact, that Coalition pack really pushing on. Phenomenal numbers coming out of them there. Le Pen as well doing a great job. Judy as well in there too. Brody from Level, Anya from Coalition, some phenomenal racing in Category B, at the moment. Some superb efforts through those sprints, and wow, I think there's going to be some real competition in there in Category B for that sprint time. Well, Category C very fast on the heels of Category B, and they're coming up for the sprint section as well. They're just shy of 100 metres out, and well, Thompson from the Ionian is in there as well, but Sperry from ATP. These riders are covering the front of the group. I want to see what riders are towards the back of the group, because for me, that's where some of the fastest times are going to come. And Eri from the W Sisters, she was the rider off the front. Eklund from the Swedish Zwifters, nicely placed, as well as Smith from the Synergy. Hopkins is in there as well. These riders now starting to push, and oh, there's a sneaky Burrito being dropped in the pack, as well as all those AEROs. Now that Burrito stops the draft from the riders behind, but there's some great numbers coming out of these riders at the moment. Superb racing on lap 1. It's looking like it's the Synergy rider who's going to set the fastest time. on this first sprint in Category C. Now that's interesting because she's not right at the front of the group. She's mid pack, but she obviously came from the back and came through. Randomski is there as well from the Aeonian squad. I know she has a kick on her, but Thompson, also the American rider from Aeonian, moving up now towards the front of the pack because you don't want to get caught on the wrong side of a split. So Category 3, they're regrouping. Category D, well, the riders are clear at the moment. And take a look at this. They are split all over the road, Category D. The Cryogen rider 2 seconds off the front. Kim here in third place is the rider we're looking at. Schaffer is there as well. So is Sarah from Herd. Walker is 3 seconds back. And then it's looking like we've got a group. I have a feeling that this Category D pack, well, the faster times in the sprint may well come from the second group. So Category D now coming up and through towards those sprint sections. And, well, I think it's going to be interesting because the group are 7 seconds back. For me, it's going to be about when they launch their sprint as well, because Kim's gone off the front around 3 watts per kilo. Giraldes is there as well. Ra from Cryogen. Schaffer is there too. But these riders not really picking up the pace here. They may well be off the front, but they're not going for the sprint. Now, the handbook clearly states it's the sprints that count, and we can see 6 watts per kilo now coming from Schaffer. Savage. Whoa, we've got some kicks coming from this group behind. Taylor from Level, Marshall from Coalition. These riders now really pushing down some great numbers. Heathcott from Coalition as well. So we did see some real strong sprinting from that second group of Category D riders rather than the riders at the front. But we're now starting to see a much larger group of Category D riders come to the fore. We had 3 riders before. It's looking like that group's going to be 10 or 12. Well, Category A went through the first sprint as the first group of riders through, and they're coming up for the second time round. They're currently at 5.7 kilometres. The sprint coming on lap 2 at 5.9. And confirmation there that Jill Pruitt setting the fastest time. We thought she did, from Mayel, from Widrig, from Thompson and Kim in Category A. Now, we've got 10 slots on the screen, but it's only the top 5 picking up points today in each of these 4 sprints. And the sprint is on again in Category A. And you can see Pruitt, well, I think she's adamant she wants all these sprints today because the rider from South Africa is absolutely digging deep. And she's pushing on and pushing on hard again. She's not content to have just won 1 sprint. I think she wants them all. Now, Kim is coming from behind and pushing on. So is Widrig. But Pruitt, I think, is going to take that again. Jill Pruitt got some phenomenal sprinting form on her. And this group continuing to push, so the Category A pack split into 2 groups. We've got 3 riders off the front, and then we have these 2 riders on the back. Well, in Category B, it's looking like Ramirez from the Aeonian squad has gone off the front of the group. She's just dangling off. There's the pack behind. They're coming round and coming in for the sprint again. They're around 100 metres out of this second lap sprint. In fact, there's the marker by the side of the road. And the reason she's done it, cheeky Ramirez, she's got a burrito. She's off the front. She's dropped the burrito. She's trying to affect the draft from behind. Clever racing from Ramirez, but is it going to work? Because the numbers coming out of some of the Coalition riders are absolutely superb. Electric Spirit right in the mix as well. Parker is there. Allen is there as well from West CC. These riders in Category B giving it everything they've got. Neeson from the Coalition is up there too, but Ramirez, that was a really interesting tactic there and a really interesting use of that power-up. So that burrito power-up turning off the draft effect behind you for 20 seconds. And these sprints all about the draft, because it is the draft that really allows you to set the fastest time through the sprint. Coming from the back of the group to the front of the group is going to give you a better draft and a better time than putting the same power down off the front. But Ramirez turning off that draft for the riders behind. Very smart. Well, this is Category C. They're taking that right-hand corner, and I can see the burritos already being dropped. And that is early because they're not quite there yet. They've still got around 100 metres, 50 metres, because that's the banner. There's the start marker on the side of the road. And here come the AEROs and the Feathers. And we've got Smith from Synergy pushing on here. Eklund is there from Swedish Zwifters. Carmen is in the mix too. Grupel is there too. Sperry as well pushing on. And Franken, what a phenomenal sprint numbers coming out of her too. O'Rourke is in the mix. So is Eri. Eri, the Canadian rider, early on setting the pace and the charge out of the start pen. And she's still pushing on those pedals hard. Category C through the second sprint, and those riders really working hard. Category D, well, it's all split, and interesting to see, we've still got two riders off the front of Category D. So Giraldez and Aurora from Cryogen, the two riders off the front. We've got a 12-second gap back to Schaffer from the USA, and then the pack led by Hopkins from Level Racing. Coalition rider Weber is there, as well as the Level rider Swift and Ross. Marshall and Sarah from Herd is there. Taylor from Level. Savage as well from EVO. All in this tight Category D pack, and last time it was indeed the second group, the larger group of Category D riders, setting the faster times through the sprint section on lap 1. Is it going to be the same again on lap 2? Well, the D category riders are a little way out at the moment. They're around 450 metres out from the start of the sprint. And interestingly, the two riders out front still hanging on the front, not coming back to the group to make the most of that draft for the sprint, which is potentially where I would be. But these two riders quite happy to be riding out and clear. Now, this is a really tactical, interesting race here, because as we said at the start of the show, there are 115 points on offer today. 10 points for fastest through the sprint each time. And if you set the fastest time through the sprint on each lap, that's 40 points. However, if you are first across the finish line, you pick up 75 points. So maybe this tactic from the two riders in category D is not as strange as you might think. So the Burrito being dropped there, it is that nasty tactic going into the sprint, but boy, what a tactic it is. And the Burrito being dropped by Giraldez. Aura from Cryogen on the wheel, but can she stay there? Because the push is on from the rider in front with that Burrito. Savage in the back group pushing on and really pushing on strongly. Weber from Coalition really pushing too. There's some great numbers. Schaffer from the USA really working hard, and there's Burritos being dropped all over this category D group. It's not the friendliest group in the world, but that is racing, and once it's finished they will be chatting like friends who never dropped a burrito in a race again. Well, Taylor from Level in the mix, and the Level Demons here showing where they are at. Category A at 9.5 kilometres are through the third lap of the village sprint, and it's looking like we've got Widrig and Louise from Foudray off the front. Pruitt sat back on her own here. The riders have just gone round the bend, just a little out of sight and out of mind. Kim coming up onto Pruitt's wheel, and Pruitt picking up points, but also interesting to see the rider Gem from SRT closing in, and this forming now a group of 3 riders. So category A, we've got Widrig out front with Louise, those 2 riders out front, and then a group of 3 now on the back as they come towards the final lap. Well, category B are coming towards the third sprint here. This is the third lap, and Ramirez from the Ionian squad, she did this last time. She went out front and she dropped a Burrito. She's 6 seconds clear at the moment, but the pace coming from behind. Neeson from Coalition, Alan from West CC, Electric Spirit, Parker is in there, as well as Angie from CMC. These riders are thick and fast through the mix here. Well, it is going to be crazy when we see these points, because I think a number of riders, and perhaps a number of different riders each lap here in this category B race, picking up points because it is so competitive. And whilst it is so competitive, why don't we hear from one of the riders in this category B pack? Becca Nielsen from the USA. She's in this Category B race, and she's one of our riders who dropped us a little message to tell us about what motivates her to compete in Zwift racing, and what message do you want to share through it.
Hi, I'm Becca. I race with the Coalition, and I race on Zwift because it makes me feel better about myself and makes me feel stronger and more capable in my life. And the message that I'd like to share with women through racing is that they are stronger than they know, and that they're valued, and that they have a place in the racing world. So I hope more women join, as they have great races to participate in, like Iceni, and hope to see you out there.
Well, great to hear from Becca. She's doing the business on the bike at the moment in Category B, and she has a real strong message there for our female racers. Category C, well, they are coming through underneath that banner signifying the end of the sprint for lap number 3, and the pack really stretched here. We've got multiple packs of Category C riders on the road. Hopkins and Eklund part and parcel of that group that is up the road. They're about 30 seconds up, and it's looking like we've got 2 riders here. So the rider from Synergy on the front, having dropped the Burrito already, and it's Eri from the W Sisters on her wheel, and sneaky move going straight over the top, really hard, kicking to try and get round the use of that Burrito. We've also got a group of riders 10-11 seconds behind coming through in this Category C race, 45 riders, and take a look at the movement there from Carmen from ART, as well as the Coalition rider here. And I tell you, it doesn't matter whether you're in the front group, the middle group, or the back group. This is about fastest through the segment. It's time that counts, and you can set that fastest time from whichever group is on the road. Well, Category D at 8.6 kilometres. They're a little way off of the village sprint for lap 3. So why don't we hear from our second rider today, Naomi Labe-Roy from Canada. She too has answered the same question as Becca Nielsen. What motivates you to compete in Zwift racing, and what message do you want to share through it? We may well be able to hear from her shortly.
So what makes me compete on Zwift is I love challenging myself. I love pushing myself to the limit. I actually love the community, especially with women. That you feel that when you're racing, there's a huge sense of respect and mutual encouragement to all push ourselves to be competitive and strong, which is amazing. And also this year I've been also competing for another reason. My stepfather, who actually introduced me to Zwift, got diagnosed in March with ALS disease, which is a very cruel and horrible disease. So I decided to reach out to a charity here in Quebec called ALS SLE Quebec, and I'm going to compete for them also, so people hear about the cause, and also organizing a 24-hour challenge for ALS SLA in next December. So all those reasons are a great reason to keep me in shape.
And I love the fact that the community come together and use esports and e-cycling for those types of activities, because it is absolutely a real worthy cause, and I'm sure everyone will get behind Naomi in that challenge as well. Well, all 4 groups of racers you can see A, B, C and D on the screen at the moment on the Iceni Women's Challenge. Category D now coming up through that sprint, and you can see the riders in the group, and these 2 riders, we had 2 riders off the front, and now Geraldez is a long way off the front. In fact, 24 seconds up the road she is, and well and truly clear. And I think that tactic can only be to pick up those 75 finishing points. But will this pack let her? Because the pack are coming hard behind. Swift from Level putting in a big move there. So has Taylor. Sarah from Herd is in the mix. So is Schaffer and Walker. Morphin from Foudre there, as well as Unser from the Dinos. Hannah from Level is there too. And Schaffer continuing to push. He's been really strong in this race, but now trying to get back onto that front group. You can just see the wheel from Taylor, from Level there, Savage from Evo, Swift is there as well as Sarah from Herd. They're on the back of the group, recovering now after that sprint because there's one more sprint to go. Category A, however, are indeed through the final sprint. All 4 sprints complete for Category A. They're now on the run down into the finish, and there's around 900 metres to go here. So Woodrig is the rider in second. Well, she's actually the rider in front at the moment. Louise from Foudre is the rider side by side at the moment. And take a look at the gradient on the run-in. There's a bit of a kick now coming as they hit those red sections. It is going to start to climb 5, 7%, 8%, 7%, 6%. It's constantly changing the gradient here as the riders side by side. Louise digs deep. She's come past Woodrig, but Woodrig is going to respond as well, and she is indeed. These 2 riders both wanting to take the win here today. The feather power up is dropped by Woodrig. That's going to make her lighter, 10% lighter for 30 seconds. The climb is on, and you can see the banner indicating the end of the race at the top on the right-hand corner of your screen. They go left, they go right, and they keep coming round, and it's almost around the top here. So the riders with the run into the finish, 400 metres left. 2 riders side by side in Category A. Is Woodrig going to take this? Is Louise from Foudre going to take it? We've got the pink Tron bike of Woodrig. We've got the green Tron bike of Louise. Side by side, they sweep through the bends. They're continuing to head towards the finish line, taking it in turns to lead this out. Who wants the lead out? Who wants the sprint line? That's the banner. Here they go. Oh, Louise has a Burrito. She's dropped the Burrito, blocking the draft of Woodrig. Woodrig will have to do something, but she's not going to make it. So it's Louise from Foudre who takes the win in Category A. She's going to pick up 75 points for the win. Jem from SRT now, looking like she's going to come through for 3rd place in Category A. Just the last right-hand bend. She's going to come round the corner. She's going to see the red banner signifying the end of the race as the SRT rider comes in for 3rd place today in Category A. Category B riders are not far behind at all. This is 300 metres from the finish, and it's looking like we've got 2 riders clear. Becca Nielsen from Coalition with Rand as well from Dirt Races pushing on here as we see them. 2 USA riders sweeping through these final corners. They've got the final corner, and the kick comes from behind. Well, the kick has come, and the kick has come early. Can Nielsen do anything about this? Can Nielsen do this? Can she close the gap? I don't think she can. That kick really caught her there. Coming over the top, it is the OTR rider. Parkinson from Coalition coming through for 3rd. LePaine coming through for 4th. Angie coming through, the Electric Spirit rider, just pipping the Ionian rider Ramirez on the line as well. The Category B women coming in thick and fast through the line. Well, Category A and Category B through the line. It's Category C now, and take a look at the size of this group. The group absolutely pulling here as they go into the base of the climb. They've still got around... Well, they've got around 700 metres of climbing to go. It flattens out at the top, but it's Lieber from the USA, from Umbrello in there. Palenza is there, the Fear rider. So is the Powell, the ASRT rider. Franken is there with Smith as well. These riders all pushing on here now at the front, and the stretch starting to come onto the group. Well, Hopkins from Crush Pod, 3 seconds now back. So is Gabby from Galaxy. Eklund is in there, the Swedish Swifter too, but it isn't. It's Smith from Synergy pushing up here, pushing up really, really strongly at the front of the race. So Smith from Synergy with the feather power up, timed to perfection. Meskova from Galaxy is coming in hard though from behind. So is Franken, the Italian rider. They're pushing really strongly as they continue to move up the climb. But Smith now, she has got 2 seconds on Meskova. Oh, can she stay clear? 200 metres to go. She's got one final corner. Can Meskova take it in the sprint, or can Smith stay clear? I think Smith might take this, and Meskova, I think, from Galaxy is going to come through in second place. Smith takes the win in Category C, the Synergy rider, picking it from Meskova, the Galaxy rider. The Swedish Zwifter Eklund going over the top of the Ionian rider for third place. Category C, fast and furious over the line. This line at the top of the climb. Well, Sperry from ATP coming through. Baker, the Revo rider, leading the group behind, 22 seconds back. And it's looking like we've got small groups of riders in this Category C race now, fighting for the finishing line and finish line places at the end of this race. Oh, I'll tell you, Challenge 1 has been short and sharp. The Castle Crit is a stinging little race with the sprint and the climb. And Category C finishing with around 25 minutes of racing for 15.3 kilometres. It's been fast and furious. Baker from the Revo squad coming up now towards the line. Grupel from Aeonian, the Canadian rider, 7 seconds back. AERO, the Canadian rider that we saw go off the front at the start of the race, going to be next underneath the banner, just 2 seconds in front of Wellington, the Synergy rider, who is just behind. Well, one row is there as well as Cash. Cash is going to come through in front of one row. Thompson is there too, as well as Cruz from Fear. These riders coming through the line fast. Back in the Category D race, you know, we said early on, Giraldas, the rider here we are watching off the front of the Category D race, and that has been her tactic all race, to ride off the front of the Category D race and to not necessarily contend the sprints. Well, the sprints have been contended from the pack behind, but the rider we are watching at the moment, Giraldas, the rider pushing on for first place. She's 24 seconds clear of the chasing group. She's got 1.3 kilometres to go, 1.2 kilometres to go. She's on this downhill run before she starts to hit the base of the climb, and the climb that is going to take her up to the finish line. If she can pull this off, she's going to pick up 75 points for first place across the line at the finish line, potentially not having picked up any points on the sprint segments, but 40 points available for the sprint, 75 points available to be first across the line. And this will have been a really interesting tactic, and one that would have caught the rest of the Category D riders unawares. So fabulous racing and great tactics from the rider we are watching on the screen at the moment, and the Category D tactics today really, really strong. Well, Giraldes is now on the climb with 700 metres to go. This is an interesting climb because it drops, it climbs, and then it really kicks. And you can see that kick at the moment. So Giraldes from Category D, and there it is. That's the gradient on the screen at the moment. Nice graphic. Love that. Well, Giraldes at the front of Category D, pushing on. She's 27 minutes 40 into the race. Savage, the Evo rider, behind. But the gap is now, I think, potentially too big. If she can hold this now for the next 500 metres, the tactics are going to have to work. Well, they're going to have to have worked. They are going to work because she's strong. She's pushing 4 watts per kilo up the climb, and she's still got the strength to kick when it gets steep. So fabulous tactics here from the leader of the Category D race. Great racing from her. 16 seconds now clear of the chase behind with less than 400 metres to go. Giraldes, I think, is going to take the win in Category D. The chase, however, is going to be on behind because Savage, Swift, Taylor, Marshall are all in close contention behind. Savage has dropped the feather, but it's been used. Swift is coming up because she's got a feather too. Used it slightly later on that section to great use there of those power-ups as we drop back in with the leader in Category D. She's got the final corners, the 2 final corners to make. So Giraldes is the rider leading Category D. She's going to come round the final corner and see the red banner signifying the end of the race. Amazing tactics, unexpected tactics from this rider today in Category D, and they have paid off for her because she goes underneath the banner in first place in category D and picks up 75 points. Well, Zwift comes through now for level racing in category D in second place. She'll take the 74. Savage will take 73. Weber from Coalition is coming in behind Taylor. Sarah from Herd is there as well as Marshall from Coalition as well. These riders coming through thick and fast now in category D. There's a bit of a gap back because following Marshall from Coalition, Ross is there too. These riders all coming over the line now in category D. It's been a superb race in all 4 race fields. It's going to be very, very interesting to take a look at the results. Well, here we go. Let's take a look at these results. This is category A, and the leaderboard is on the left-hand side of your screen, but let's just take a little look at the points and where the points were won. Pruitt went through that first sprint at the front, setting the fastest time. She picked up the second fastest time on sprint 2, and then she took the fastest time again on 3 and 4, picking up a lot of points through those sprints. She didn't take it on the finish line though. She came through in 5th place, but 75 points for first, 74, 73, 72, 71. She didn't lose that many points for 5th place, and it puts her top of the live leaderboard for category A at the moment with 109 points. Gemma Thompson, who you can see very consistent in those sprints and strong in her finish place, coming through with 87 points in second, and Kim coming through 5 points back with 82 points for third. Category A race, 7 riders competing there, and Pruitt setting a very, very strong stall out for the rest of the Iceni Women's Series. In category B, well, you can see how close it is on that live leaderboard ranking on the left-hand side of your screen. But take a look, 5 riders on each sprint. Fastest through the segment, picking up points, and you can see the repetition of names. I can see Gino in there regularly, all bar the last sprint. Neeson is there as well. Parkinson picking up multiple sprint points as well, and Flavia Lepane picking up points too. In fact, she picks up points in every single sprint. Well, when it came to the finish line, it was Gino from Nelson, from Parkinson, from Lepane, from Nell, from Labbe Roy, from Robson, Ramirez, Allen and Parker, and all of those points added together, it gives it to Randy Gino with 103 points, just 1 point clear of Becca Neeson. That is going to be a fearsome competition as we move into week 2 next Saturday. Martha Parkinson, 95 points, not far back. Lepane, 92 points. And then Nell, 77, tied equal 5th with Allen. And in fact, Labbe Roy, 76 points. It is so close on this category B live leaderboard. These points will carry through to next week when this competition will continue to get spicy, because those numbers, they are so close between our category B riders. So we've taken a look at category A. We've taken a look at category B. This is category C, and let's just remember, just the top 5 fastest through the sprints, picking up points, and 4 opportunities to do that, and a real mix of riders in category C. But you can see some repetition of names. Megan Radomski picking up points in 3 of the sprints. Paige Wunrow picking up points in 3 of the sprints. Eddie Auger picking up points in all 4 of the sprints. So some real mixes there. Rogans is in there too. In fact, Carmen Rogans picks up points in all of those sprints as well. So some phenomenal sprinting to get the 5 fastest times, which is shown on the screen. At the finish line, it was Smith from Meskova, from Frankin, from Engmo, from Eklund Thompson, Ixon, Fajardo, Natalie and Charles. All of those points added together in category C. At the moment on the live leaderboard, it's Lily Frankin with 87 points topping the table, but it is close behind, because Meskova 76, Smith 75, Eddie Auger 74, Egmo 72, Eklund 71, Thompson 70. So just 6 points separating second from seventh. Emma Iceni is on 69, tied with Carmen Rogers in 8th and 9th. And Fajardo, 68 points in 10th. So it's looking like Category C. While Franken has an 11-point lead at the top, the rest of the riders in that top 10 so close together. Now, we did say Category C would be one of our most competitive race fields because it was the largest starting number of riders today in each of those 4 race categories. And well, those results really highlighting the competitive nature we are going to see in Category C over the next few weeks. Well, let's take a look and see if those points paid off for Yavi Giraldez, because she took the win and she rode clear of the group, not contending any of the sprints. The sprints, though, we have Savage took 3 of those sprints. Well, she took 2 sprints and was third in another. Taking a look at other names who are repetitive, Sonia Weber in there a couple of times. In fact, 3 times. Natalie Taylor in there 3 times. Claire Heathcock in there as well. So a right interesting group of sprint point times across those 4 sprints in Category D, and that finish line finale of Giraldez taking that win from Zwift, Savage, Taylor, Weber, Hoffman, Marshall, Beth, Tumpea and Schaffer all add the points this way. Celine Savage picking up 99 points for the win there. Phenomenal. Weber in 2, Beth in 3, Taylor 4, Hoffman, Giraldez, Zwift, Marshall, Unser and Tompe in Category D. And that is your leader table at the end of Challenge 1, the Castle Crit, for the Iceni Women's Challenge. So Challenge 1, the Castle Crit, now complete. We move on next week to Challenge 2. It's the Canopies and Coastlines, 27.5 kilometres of racing, 232 metres of climbing. It's longer and there's more climbing than today. There are 4 sprints along the way and a finish line with points. And of course, it is points that count in the Iceni Women's Challenge. We will see you there. Well, what fabulous racing in all 4 of our race fields today. Don't forget, you can head over to Zwift Power to see the results from the racing today, or you can follow at the Warrior Games on social media channels, and they will be putting those results out once everything is completed. You can follow ZMS Esports Studios on YouTube or Facebook to keep up with all of those racing broadcasts. And of course, you can follow me at Biking Emma on Instagram and keep up with all the racing in that women's race scene. There's a lot of women out there racing. There's a lot of support from the community. If you want to jump on board, get on your bike and just join in. Anyone will answer any questions you have, and their community is there to support you. Well, next week we head to Challenge 2. It's Canopies and Coastlines. I can't wait. Until then, stay safe. Enjoy your riding. Goodbye.